Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Amma barahabatu fil assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A beautiful question was posed earlier today, and I just wanted to provide a little bit of better details. And the question was, when does the Salat al-Isha end? You know, when does it end? Is it the middle of the night or what have you? So it's very good. We'll just go into we won't go into all the evidences and so forth because it could prolong this issue. So first we'll say اختلف أهل العلم في آخر وقت صلاة العشاء على أقواها قولان. So the scholars, they differ over when the last time for Salat al-Isha is. And the strongest of the opinions, meaning more muwafiq with the dalil, that more in accordance with the evidences, is the two statements we're going to mention. And the first statement, أحبت في الله قول الأول يمتد وقت صلاة العشاء واختياري إلى نصف الليل وضروري إلى طلوع الفجر. So one of the statements, and this is the view that I hold and I answered earlier with this view, and that is that the Salat al-Isha, that there are two times for Salat al-Isha. There is Waqt al-Ikhtiyari and Waqt al-Dururi. Waqt al-Ikhtiyari means the time you have a choice, and that would be to half the night, because someone asked a question, something about, what about praying Salat al-Isha, does it end at midnight or something similar to this? So what the scholars have mentioned is that it is nisf al-layl, that when half the night, which might be about midnight or so, that this is called the waqt al-ikhtiyari. This is called the choice time, according to this view, and this is the view that I hold. This is called the most acceptable time to pray Salat al-Isha, that up until half the night. And the further details, then there's what is called Waqt al-Dururi. And so this is what I had mentioned earlier, is that Salat al-Isha goes until the next prayer time, because that's technically when prayer times end. So if you want to know when Fajr, well, not Fajr, but when Salat al-Dhuhr, when the Dhuhr prayer ends, it ends when Asr comes in. And if you want to know when Salat al-Asr ends, it ends when Salat al-Maghrib comes in. But there are these waqt ikhtiyari wa waqt dururi. So waqt ikhtiyari is when you could say that there's a little bit more choice in the matter, and this is the preferred time. It's the preferred time. Waqt dururi means you have to pray it during this time, meaning you maybe missed it, you delayed it, but you shouldn't try to push your prayer to that time. So waqt dururi for Salat al-Isha, that's going maybe after midnight. So if you're delaying your Salat al-Isha till 2 o'clock in the morning every day, this is not preferred. This is not a good thing, because it's anyway, it's preferable according to this goal to pray it nisf al-layl, in half of the evening, not in those latter stages, although your prayer would still be accepted, because that would be the waqt al-dururi, but you don't want to play with your prayer that way. So that means that's the time you better pray it, because you're getting closer to Fajr. Okay? That's what we mean more or less by waqt al-dururi, and this came out much longer than I wanted to. The second qawl from the strongest views about the end of Salat al-Isha. The other view, and before we do, we're going to have to give some love and detail to this. So, as we said, some of the imams who hold this view, and I said this is my view, is that there's a riwayah, meaning there's an opinion on Imam Ahmed. This is also the statement of Imam Shafi'i qadiman, in the early part of his madhab, if you will, or his earlier statements. It is also a statement of Ibn Habib, and it is also a statement of Ibn Muwaz and Min al-Malikiyah, from the Maliki fiqh. So this is also his view as well. And then also Ibn Qudama Imam Ibn Qudama from the Hanbali madhab, he also chose this. And Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah likewise chose this view. And Imam Shawkani al-Yemeni also chose this view. Ibn Baz, he also chose this view, and the Lejna, or the Committee for Major Scholars in Saudi Arabia, they also hold this view. Right. The second view is a qawl الثاني يمتد وقت صلاة العشاء إلى نصف الليل. So that the other view that some of the scholars hold, that these are still both kind of in the stronger opinion, and I just mentioned what my choice and all those a'imma sabaqani bihada, is that Salatul Isha, that it ends at the nisf al-layl. Okay? Or, yeah, this is the time, is in the halfway point of the evening. And that there is no such thing as a preferred time. So you could pray your Salatul Isha up to midnight all the time. And that there is no waqt durura wa durura. This is their qawl. And I think, and some of the imams that hold this, Imam Ibn Hazm al-Zahiri, also Abu Sa'id, Istakhri, and then also, and he was a Shafi'i scholar, and then also Imam bin Uthaymeen, and also Imam al-Albani hold this view. The view that I'm going to mention, that I hold to be the most stronger of the views, which those great imams that we already mentioned, I'll just bring one of their evidences, because there's, we could, write a book about some of these differences and going into their adillah. But one of the evidences that they mention is a hadith of Abi Qatada radiyallahu ta'ala قال خطبنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال إنكم سترون عشاءتكم وليلتكم. So the Prophet ﷺ gave a khutbah, and he said, you'll see your Isha and your evening, and your evening prayer, or something similar to this. And then he mentions the hadith, and then he says, and in this hadith is also another part of the hadith where the Prophet ﷺ said, أما إنه ليس في نوم تفريط وإنما تفريط على من لم يصلي الصلاة حتى يجي وقت صلاة الأخرى. So the shahid here, the main point, is that the Prophet ﷺ said that basically someone is kind of going beyond the bounds if they do not pray their prayer before the next prayer time comes in. So that is what the scholars, the wajid dalala, how they use this evidence, is they use this evidence to show that the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that basically that you need to pray this prayer before the next prayer time comes in, that this is kind of like a durura. This would be the ifrat. So the scholars deduce from then that there's two times. There's a ikhtiyari, there's a time when there's a choice, or there's a preferred time, and then there's a time where dururi, you need to pray it because you're coming to the end of the prayer. And they say so much more, but I think that's sufficient to give us some indication about this mas'ala. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the Almighty to accept our good and forgive our evil. Sallallahu alaihi wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad.